making the art, displaying it.
Yeah, I was there the week they opened. Kelly and I went for drinks after the shorter.
They weren't really dressed up, so I figured they probably weren't.
It's not just Valadia's that Friday night.
Yeah. But they seem to have a good time. I mean, I asked them, do you want to speak at the unveilings or no?
Yeah, here they don't have.
Like, nope.
That's, I mean, you just never know the different personalities of, there's probably some artists out there that want all that fame, and
like 4 years
Yeah,
later.
exactly.
as Mason said, that's
Everything been
what
done.
they did, why, what it all means. And others just
Yeah.
make it, play it.
Yeah, but it was just light.
Like it good, if you don't, that's different.
It is what it is.
What time do you all have? Seems like my clock says
5:15.
5:15.
Yeah.
That one's mine.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
What do you get?
Does it even work?
It doesn't surprise me.
Wife and kids are out of town.
You know who would know would be Hardwick.
I'm a bachelor tonight. Yeah, it's like the first time, like, yeah, what should I do for dinner? I'm like,
He used to borrow his car.
No,
what
that's
am I gonna do? Now stay away from Maine because I'm on Maine every day.
Let's get rolling.
That's pretty good news.
Maybe
Everybody ready? Everybody ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ready?
We're ready.
Everybody ready? Here we go. Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the February 2019 City of Columbia Planning Commission meeting. I'd like to welcome all planning commissioners, members, staff, and guests. At this time, I would like to ask everyone to turn their cell phones and PDAs to the silent or vibrate mode. The administrator will now proceed with the roll call.
Mr. Tupper.
Here.
Ms. Mandel.
Here.
Mr. Waits. Here. Ms. Hartz.
Here.
Mr. Cohn.
Here.
Mr. Stegemeyer.
Here.
Ms. James.
Here.
Mr. Dolphin.
Here.
And Mr. Frost.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you. For those of you who have not been here before, I'd like to briefly review the meeting format. Applicants with requests before the Planning Commission are allotted a presentation time of 10 minutes. This time should include, but is not limited to, an overview of the project, case history, and any pertinent meetings held regarding the request. This time also includes all persons presenting information on behalf of the applicant, such as attorneys, engineers, and architects. This time limit does not include any questions asked by Planning Commission or staff regarding these requests. Members of the general public are given the opportunity to address their concerns in intervals of 2 minutes. The administrator has a timer and will make presenters aware of when their time has expired. The Planning Commission reserves the right to amend these procedures on a case-by-case basis. The consent agenda. The Planning Commission uses the consent agenda to approve non-controversial or routine matters by a single motion and vote. Examples of such items include approval of site plans, annexations, and street names. If a member of the Planning Commission or the general public would like to discuss an item on the consent agenda, then that item is removed from the consent agenda and considered during the regular meeting. The Planning Commission then approves the remaining consent agenda items. The administrator will now read the consent agenda.
Your consent agenda this evening consists of the approval of the January 7th, 2019 minutes, a site plan review for 7901 Farrow Road, a comprehensive plan and future land use map amendment for 1703 McFadden Street, a zoning map amendment for 1703 McFadden Street, which is also it's going from RG1 to C1, and then a zoning map amendment for 3601 Ridgewood Avenue. This is a proposal to go from PUDR to RS2. And a zoning text amendment for the Granby Architectural Conservation District guidelines, and to add 316 Haywood Street to the list of properties within the historic district into the zoning code. And that consists of your consent agenda this evening.
Thank you. Do any commission members or guests wish to have any items on the consent agenda removed and placed on the regular agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I do need to recuse myself from the two items that are presented on McFadden Street. So when I vote on the consent agenda, I'd like to be noted as being recused for just those two, please.
Okay. So we'll have two motions.
We'll need to have two motions, yes.
Okay.
So which two items, Mr. Waits?
All right. If no one wishes to have any items removed, I'd like to ask for two motions to approve the consent agenda. The first one will be for item number 2, 5, and 6, and the second one will be for items number 3 and 4, which Mr. Waits has recused himself for.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items 1, 2, 5, and 6.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion's approved. Now I'd like to ask for the second motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we approve items 3 and 4 on the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion approved. That concludes our meeting other than for,
We have two other things.
what do we have?
On other business, I want to remind you all of a comprehensive plan work session for February 13th at noon. The consultants will be in town because we have our community meetings both on the 12th and the 13th, so they'll be in town on the 13th. So you'll get more information about that particular meeting. It will be at the Parking Services conference room. And then you should have all received information from Andrea about a work session, I believe at noon on the 26th.
26th, yeah.
Tuesday the 26th. So just wanted to remind you of those two. And if you haven't turned in your book, please bring it next month so we can forward that on to City Council without having to incur a lot of printing charges.
Okay. Now I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Meeting's adjourned.
Maybe to get the car out.
You gotta make sure it's, good to go. There's no loose wheels, any shimmies or shocks.
It needs to be tested thoroughly.
Yes, exactly.